All right, y'all. Welcome back to the Get Elevated podcast. It is your girl, Ellie Talks Money, and I am so excited to bring you guys another amazing episode. Y'all are going to love this today. So you guys know that on the podcast, I'm all about really giving you guys a behind the scenes view into entrepreneurship, starting a business, to show you guys that wherever you are right now in your life, in your journey, even if you're still at your 9 to 5, there is still a great business out there for you. It does not need to be some $1 million idea. It literally can be something simple that can take you to your first 6 or 7 figures. So in just a minute, you guys are going to meet my amazing guest. Super excited because I have followed her for a while, and we'll get right into it. All right, see you guys inside. Listen, everything you need to change your life is already within you. You need to believe that it has to work or it has to work. You got this. Scale your business, make more money, create your best life, and let's get elevated. Welcome to the podcast. All right, y'all, welcome back into the show. So I'm super excited about today's episode because you guys know I started my business about 2 years ago in 2020, and there are some very particular pages I was following in the beginning of my business, and my guest today is one of those pages. So it is super cool to welcome Christianna Hurt. She's such an amazing entrepreneur, and I love what you've been doing. I feel like it's alignment that we are at the table right now. So introduce yourself.
It was long overdue. So as you guys know, my name is Christianna Hurt. I'm the owner and founder of WealthyCollegeKid, the Boss Palace, and I own a luxury children's brand called Just Kidding Kid.
I love that. So many different businesses. You're doing so many different things. Tell me, what was that kind of moment where you decided, I need to start a business? What pushed you into this world?
So as everybody knows, unfortunately, I moved out prematurely. So many young girls do for a boy. When my parents told me it was going to end in eviction, and it did end in eviction.
Parents always know.
There was no avoiding that. But, under the agreement that he was going to pay the rent, he obviously did not. What else is new?
Yeah.
So I had to figure out a way to pay $3,000 in rent. And I had 1 month free rent. So I had about 30-something days to
figure it out.
$3,000. And he had gotten me fired from my serving job. This
guy, just one thing after another.
And it's so crazy because looking back, it's just the will or how far you'll go to please somebody is sick.
It's crazy.
It's so sick.
Especially us as women.
Yeah, but he just basically was like, you could either be a regular college girl like you are and party, but if you want to be my girlfriend, you're going to have to be a boss. And at the time, I'm crying. I'm like, I can do it. Just give me time. Well, I moved out April 2016. I was making 6 figures a month by September 2016.
Yes.
It was fast. I was the epitome of probably everything that, he saw in himself and wanted, but,
you ended up making it happen.
Yeah, I made it happen. And it's so crazy because, we always see our men leave the women that held them down when they were at their lowest and he left. 9 times out of 10 people leave because on your way up, you're treated bad. And I was treated extremely bad, very bad. And when I did get to the finish line, I didn't want to see anybody from the starting line.
You're like, bye. I made it here. I love that because it's almost like out of such a dark situation, you bloomed into this 6-figure earner in months.
Right? It's kind of sick. Looking back, it's really wow. How?
Yeah.
But, one, I was desperate to please somebody, and 2, I didn't want to go home. I could have gone home. I always admit to that. I had a safety net.
Yeah.
I could have called and said, you were right, come get me. But, the reality is you don't want to. I can't sit here and say that everybody is going to just immediately call home.
Yeah.
Even if you have the option. A lot of us do have the option. Some of us don't have the option. But regardless, we kind of make the same choices of I'm not going to call home. I'll figure it out.
I'm going to figure it out. And what I really like about it, too, is what you're sharing is we all make mistakes, right? But there's 2 people. There's people that let the mistakes define them, and then they're kind of stuck and depressed and, oh my God, I just got evicted. And then there's you. I made a mistake, but I'm about to figure this shit out.
I'm gonna shake something, literally just make it work. And I did. And granted, I still got evicted.
Yeah.
It did end in a flood that I didn't cause, but I was able to, I always tell people my last L made me my first M.
Yeah.
Like, I really took the L that I had to take to the face, and I turned it into $1 million, multi-million-dollar now, but $1 million enterprise in 2 years from the time that I moved out.
It just goes to show anything is possible. So break it down for me. What did you sell? Because, I mean, like, we want to know.
A mobile fishing pole pen. So, I guess fishers, if you want to just pull over and like fish.
So like portable almost.
Yeah, it was like in your pocket, you pull it out, it comes out, and you can fish. So I was selling that at first. I made like 5-10 grand, so that showed me it was real, obviously, but I needed more money because now I've been able to pay the rent and pay my credit card because I got a $5,000 credit card from Chase, but I was still in the hole.
Yeah,
like I was still poor.
You still needed the money.
So I ended up selling makeup in August going into September, and that's what was doing like 6 figures a month in revenue, like very, very, very quickly.
Very quickly. So few things, right? You're starting to sell these fishing pole brands, but you're not a fisherman. Like, do you fish?
No.
Okay.
Never fish.
Right? So what was that like, selling something that you don't really relate to, or finding the niche that would buy that? How did you find them?
So just, breaking down my ideal customer. Okay. Obviously it was men. So that delete a whole gender. And then it was, men over 45. So older men. So then you take it from older men that like outdoors, like that live in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Like you just break it down to like your ideal customer. What does that look like? And from there, I was able to find tons of old men that like to fish.
And so you targeted them with ads.
Facebook advertising, which at the time was a lot easier. You could just throw stuff and stick.
Yeah.
Now it's a lot more expensive. A lot more people do it. So, you have to build a brand. But back then you could throw something at the wall
And
make money.
and just
literally.
be like, let's just sell some fishing poles. So how did you do that same process when it came to selling the makeup? Like, how did you decide
Same thing, like
that audience?
ideal customer, like women that are like 15 and up, like young girls, and then just Facebook ads to the same demographic of that ideal customer.
Yeah. And were you building a personal brand yet at that time?
No, I didn't start my personal brand until 2018.
Yeah. So it was more just, let me make this money and be invisible. And I think what's key there is a lot of people feel like if they're selling a product or if they start a business that they have to be the face of the business right away in order to make money. But what would you say to that? Do you think that it's necessary to be involved?
Not in the beginning. If you're just in it to pay your bills, no. Like people were knowing about me, but I wasn't teaching. Like, like people were finding out because I was buying stuff.
Yeah.
Like, my life, I elevated a little bit, but no, not really. I was consistently doing 6 figures, like probably $400,000 a year before I started Wealthy College Kid, and then like obviously made my first $1 million in revenue over the course of that 2 years. And then really took, education and digital products
seriously. Because at first it was more like, I'm going to make money with this business and I'm going to live my best life.
Literally.
Right? Which can be good.
Which is okay. You can do like one or the other, or you can do both, honestly.
Yeah. So what do you think is the biggest lesson you learned at that time in that like first 1 year?
Ooh, I should have broken the lease. Move. Like, I thought breaking a lease meant that I would be evicted still. That was the way it was explained to me. Like, so I didn't know that I could have gotten out.
Yeah, before the eviction.
That was my biggest regret. Like, because I could have avoided a lot of violence, a lot of trauma. I could have got out. I had enough money to get out. That was like my biggest regret, is that you should have taken that money and skedaddled
and change the situation.
Yes, and just change it the minute I can. And that's one of the biggest things I do now. Like, if I don't like something or something's going left, I am gone. You don't have to ask me twice. Red flags, I'm gone.
But that's so good because it's a boundary.
Yeah.
Some
people call it like giving up or quitting.
See, I don't agree. Because, I was in a physically abusive marriage myself. And I feel like, I got divorced in 2020. I feel like now we recognize when things, like we can recognize the signs. So whether it's business, friendship, personal, whatever, no, as soon as it doesn't sit, we got to go.
And it's crazy. I always tell people, like, any type of DV situation, like the slightest sign of aggression,
you raise your voice.
That's so crazy. And, my relationship now, he's from New York, so he, like, yells. And I'm like, you can't do that. Like, I have to constantly remind him, do not raise your voice. Like, don't do that. And he's gotten better, but he he doesn't register that because, you know, the women he dealt with were okay with that yelling. I'm like, no, we use our inside voice. I have to constantly, I'm like, you're at a 4, I need you at like a 1. Like, but that's just, you know, it's coming from that type of situation. Like, I don't deal with aggression or just like raising your voice. No.
Yeah.
Immediately. No.
So what brought you into Wealthy College Kid? Because I think that was one of the first pages I found from you. And I was like, okay, this is cool. You know, I had already graduated, but I loved the concept. So what inspired that?
So Wealthy College Kid was like a reflection of what I wanted to be in college. So what I feel like I needed at 18, what I feel like I wanted to be, and what I envisioned myself as.
Yeah.
You know, you associate college with broke. So I wanted to kind of like change the stigma and enroll to earn and learning, you know, a profitable skill set.
And what's so key about it too is like, we don't learn these things in school.
Nope.
Like
now they do. They have like little classes like about it, but I don't know. Sometimes I think about taking them just to go see.
Just to see how actionable
know what's
it
on
is.
The other side.
Right? Like, what are y'all actually teaching in here?
But they have like Facebook ad classes now.
Really?
Yeah, UCF.
What college is this?
UCF has social media, e-commerce education, things like that. Like, I've considered like going back to school just to see what's over there.
Yeah, and just to see what you could learn.
Like $1,200 for it because it's a 4-hour course credit. You gotta think $300 per credit hour.
But that's like not that bad. That's like good.
But think about the college. Like the average American's making $38,000.
It's expensive for a college student.
Like again, like sometimes we get jaded.
Yeah,
because we're making money from the internet, so we desensitize ourselves to numbers. But in the harsh reality, like $1,200 for one class, and you have to be a full-time student, so that's 4 classes. It's like damn near like $5,000-$6,000.
Yeah, when you think about it in the grand scheme,
to know that you don't even know if you'll make money.
I know.
So I get why nobody's taking it. like
they're like, I don't know about that Facebook ads class.
Like, why would you take a class with no guaranteed job?
Yeah,
a job that you have to make up. Like, I can't get behind it. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like,
so is that kind of why? Like, how did that encourage you to design Wealthy College Kid, and did it influence how you price your products?
So I have everything from free all the way up to $20,000. Wow. I have the whole spectrum. And the reason being is because I feel like with e-commerce, it can be a side hustle. It can also be a full income. It could be your whole life. It could be whatever you want. It just depends on how much money you want out of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's no point in charging somebody $1,000 for a class that just wants to make an extra $500. There's no point.
That's
they just
true.
want $500.
That's so key. You know, giving people the levels that they need. And I think for business owners that, you know, are watching now, there's sometimes this idea that it has to be like one size fits all.
And it's never like that. That's what's so crazy about it. It's never like that because, you know, again, like some people will come into this just looking for that side hustle income, and some people are looking for a multi-million-dollar income.
Yeah.
And you're going to pay if you want that type of income. But there's always, you know, a calculated risk. Nothing's guaranteed.
Yeah.
But, you know, like you come in with those types of expectations, you're paying for what you expect to see out of it.
Yeah, but then giving people the option to say you can start with 47, you know, or you can start with 470.
Show up to the free class. It's whatever works for you.
Yeah. And so tell me about the building of your personal brand. What did you do? What was the hardest part, I would say, about building that side?
So I would feel like my personal brand is Wealthy College Kid when I was in college.
Yeah.
It was until I graduated that I kind of separated the two. But I just went live, like on my personal page. I just went live, like on Instagram, Facebook. I have close to like 6,000 lives on Facebook.
Oh my God.
Because I went live for 5 years straight, Monday through Friday, sometimes like 4 or 5 times a day. So, and you can always find those. I leave them all up. I documented my whole process. So again, like, I built it just by being myself on camera, like just going live, whether it's driving, whether it's, you know, working, teaching a lesson, it's just live interactions with people.
Yeah, because then people get to trust you. I know that that's what helped me a lot in my business, going live, not 4 or 5 times a day. I got kids, but like 2 or 3. But people really get to see who is the person behind the brand. They get to ask questions. And then I feel like it completely helps with conversions. It's almost like a webinar, but on Instagram. I feel
like
or Facebook.
That accessibility removes the fear. You know, having access to somebody that's making a certain level of income can make people feel so much more comfortable.
Yeah, because you're no longer intimidating.
You're no longer putting yourself above.
Yeah.
equal.
So what about now? Do you still do the lives as much?
Yeah.
So how do you build it in? What's like a routine that works for you?
I just go live. Like if I'm cooking and I can talk, I just turn on the camera. Like it's easy for me. It's very vlog style and it's very like intimate. So it's never been like set aside a time. Like I just go live if I can.
Yeah, and then people will pop on. But what I found too is that with the consistency and showing up, going live, you can do it like 2 a.m. and people will still pull up.
They'll show up. Yeah. And that's exactly what I have is, you know, whether it's 2 a.m. or 2 p.m., people are there.
Yeah. So your first year of business, you achieved huge success with the rods and the makeup, right? And then we move into Wealthy College Kids. So what do you think are some of the biggest lessons you learned at that point? And what are some systems that you used when you were building that more digital business?
Customer service is just so important in this day and age. People, you know, with convenience being at an all-time high with Uber Eats and Afterpay and accessibility, comes entitlement. And setting those boundaries can be so hard. Like people think that they should get customer service at 4 in the morning.
24/7.
People think that they don't have to honor what they sign. Like you can have somebody sign 100 things to say no refunds. They will still get on social media and say, oh, she refuses to refund me. She's a scam. You signed it. You signed the contract. And, you know, you can't expose your contracts. You can't expose people just for that. So you just have to take it to the chin. Like,
I know.
Call me scam, call it what it is.
Yeah.
And I'll deal with it
on the back end.
On the back end. Like, but again, like you holding people accountable for the things they sign is the biggest thing in digital education and any type of service. Like,
yes.
Because at the end of the day, like, people are going to be like, oh, I didn't like it, or oh, I don't want this. And with digital, it's not tangible. So your agreement, your NDAs, your non-disbarment is the word of 2022. Non-disbarment. If you don't know what a non-disbarment agreement clause is, I have them. Means that if you pay me for a service, you cannot go on social media and bash me. I will sue you for it. Like, and you sign it. Like it's its own document by itself.
That's so
And
good.
I have non-disbarments on top of NDAs.
Yeah.
I do both.
Yeah.
And they're 2 separate signatures. It's not one agreement. So, you know, you just have to ask yourself if you ever see bashing on social media, you might want to search their name on the clerk of courts and you're probably going to find it. Like, and you know, it's, you know, you never want to take it that far. Court is expensive, but you have to hold people accountable.
Yourself.
Yeah. Like, and it's long. Like I tell people all the time, but you have to hold people accountable for the things that they sign and the things that they agree to. Whether it's a phone call, meeting in person, notarized, we're talking notarized contracts. Some of these people, like,
wow,
because like you got to think if you're paying me $20,000, $30,000, there's a contract. There's a contract.
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
Like you should never, ever think that there is not a contract. There's a contract for both parties. There is non-disclosures. There is non-disbarment. There is a no refund. There's everything. I have what's called an income disclaimer too, where it says that your entire investment can be written off as total loss. You have to, just in case, like, God forbid the internet goes out.
Yeah.
Like, I can't be held liable for that to happen.
Yeah.
So you have to have, like, hey, you know, this whole investment, you may not make any money. The internet could go out. And we're not saying that, you know, always outside clauses, but we have to cover
that protection.
You know, dot our I's and cross our T's every single time.
Because if we don't, someone, I mean,
they'll drag us online.
We've seen it.
We've seen it. So, especially with TikTok, like, I love TikTok, but I also hate TikTok. Like,
it's a crazy place. I'm learning it, the content over there, but it's a little wild. It's a wild, wild west. Is what
it gives everybody the opportunity to go viral, though.
It
gives
does.
everybody a voice, and it equals out everybody's voice.
I feel like it's way more equal than Instagram. You just kind of have to figure it out a little bit, right?
Yeah.
So would you say you also do those with digital products or just services?
Just services.
Okay.
If it's below $100, like, I'll take it to the chin.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
You can get a refund. Like,
or you just have your terms and conditions on the website.
I just get refunds. I don't even deal with it. If it's that big of a deal, like, I've gotten letters on like $7. Like somebody used their postage stamp and got a cousin who I guess is an attorney and sent me a letter about $7. Like, how dare you charge me $7? I'm like, never had an email for a refund, nothing. I'm just getting certified mail for $7.
Which it probably costs $7 to send the certified mail.
It. Like, you gotta ask yourself, like, it's just crazy to me. But again, like, TikTok has a lot of TikTok lawyers that think they just know everything, like, and people throw these terms out and have no understanding of what's gonna happen behind them.
Yeah.
Like, truthfully,
You've gotta be educated on this stuff. Both, especially if you are going to be a consumer, like you can't just.
And if you're not gonna
like
educate yourself, hire
someone. Exactly.
I have a great legal team, and part of that just comes from being in this so long, like just knowing it
and learning. And I think that's something great business owners can take away is you can protect yourself. Like, you're building this, it's your baby in so many ways. You would protect your child, so you should also protect your business.
Protect your business. And, we have placements and things in place to do that now.
Yeah.
Like, that's the best part about it is, like, we can do it in 2022.
Yeah, you absolutely can. So I wanted to ask you, too, like, for a newer business owner who maybe cannot hire a legal team, what do you think are some good things they can do on the low to still protect their
contracts?
business?
Number one, what's a work agreement should be included in that contract, a non-disbarment clause, a non-disclosure, and an income disclaimer. Like, period. Like, just like when you walk into Planet Smoothie, it has a disclaimer that if you make up what you want, you can't get a refund. Like, there's no guarantee this will taste good. Because you made it up. You're not picking off the menu.
Yeah.
Like, if you make up your own smoothie and you pay for it, that's it.
That's it, because you made it.
But you have to have a disclaimer. Otherwise, it's like, oh, I made up this smoothie. It tastes horrible. Like, nobody told you to make that up.
Yeah.
You should have ordered off the menu.
You got to take it now.
Yeah.
So in working with all these different customers, right? You've got people who've paid you for services, for products. What do you think is the biggest thing you've learned about aspiring entrepreneurs or new entrepreneurs? What are their biggest challenges or maybe areas that they're struggling?
Social media. Instant gratification. Thinking you're supposed to be rich tomorrow.
Oh, girl.
Literally, thinking you're supposed
again.
to be rich tomorrow is the biggest problem I have in digital. Like, people just think they don't want to work. And that's why I don't do mentorship. Fun fact. I do not offer mentorship because people want my income with their work ethic. And that's not it. Like, it's just not possible. It's not, like, it's just not. So I just don't mess with it. I don't do it because I'm not going to be the person that's going to try to convince you that your work ethic is the problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
then that's another conversation. So what are some ways that people can increase their accountability and their consistency? Like, if you were to give your younger self advice or maybe mentor one who thinks that they can have everything by tomorrow, what would you tell them they should build into their day to be more accountable and more consistent?
Checklists. I think checklists do the best because you're just able to, check things off. And what I do is I write a dollar amount next to each task of what it's worth so that I hold myself accountable to do it.
I love that. So it's almost like if I don't do this, I just lost
X
$100.
amount of dollars. Yep.
That's really good. You know what? I do the same, but I do it more so with like goals specifically for my kids. So like if I don't do this, Safi doesn't get a house. You know what I mean? Like, if I don't do this.
But sometimes you have to do that mental thing. Like, sometimes you just have to, like, put a dollar amount or a goal or something next to it so that you're able to, like, mentally put yourself there.
So there's some kind of consequence. Because one thing I've realized is, like, when we have jobs, right, we know if we don't show up to work, they let us go or they fire us or put us on whatever, probation. But if you don't show up to your business, you have to give yourself some kind of consequence. Otherwise, you'll just keep not showing up.
Exactly. And, entrepreneurship is the hardest because you have to wake up and put yourself to work. You have to say, I'm going to work from X to D or whatever the case may be by the end of the day. You have to.
Yeah, it's just you. All right, guys. So we're going to take a quick break and we will be right back. Hey, future millionaires. Thank you so much for tuning in to Get Elevated, my live coaching and podcast show. I absolutely love sharing this value with you, and I want to make sure that you're tapped in to all the other resources I provide for you here on the channel, as well as in my academy, ELLIEVATEDacademy.com. You guys know that I'm so passionate about helping you start and scale your businesses online, build business credit, get access to funding, and just overall creating multiple income streams. So I want to make sure that you are tapped into my Wealth Masterclass. You can get the link to that down below or by going to ELLIEVATEDacademy.com and enroll ASAP. I'll see you guys in the masterclass. Bye. All right, y'all, welcome back to the podcast. So many gems have been dropped. Get your notebooks out because we're going to dive into even more stuff. So I want to ask you, I also know about your page, Boss Palace, which is so funny because I think I really saw you guys in the pandemic is when it's like kept coming across my feed. So what is it? How did it blow up? Because you guys have over 500,000 followers, I think.
Yeah, so
Crazy.
it blew up because of obviously advertising, but advertising with influencer marketing. We had all your favorite IG girlies promoting it, and we just, we created an omnious presence. You couldn't escape us. So we had everybody wanting to start a business.
Yeah.
Everybody, just getting involved. And the way that we did that was just putting it in your face.
And I love what you're saying, like diving into the fact that everyone should start a business and making that the message and then leveraging other people's audience to do that. So what did you guys sell?
Vendors list. So just PDFs with information on them so that people could contact vendors and order their own inventory to start their own business.
So no training, here's how.
No, just here's a PDF with the information that you requested. And it's instantly delivered, instantly emailed, instantly everything. So there was no pushback, anything.
Yeah. And it's just buy from the link in our bio and go. What? That's amazing. So how long did it take you guys to become a 7-figure business with that model?
8 figures, 11 months. Yeah, 11 months.
In a year?
Yeah. Literally. It took us 11 months. We did 10.4 million in 11 months.
Off of some vendors list?
Right? PDFs.
Ma'am.
Selling information.
So what... Because now I'm like, all right, I need to start selling vendors lists like tomorrow. But so what do you think is the biggest key to scaling that fast?
Dumping and reinvesting back into the business, number one. And number two, investing into influencers and Facebook equally. Like you can't just spend, if you have $100, you have to spend 50 on ads and 50 on influencing. Really equaling out the spend on influence and omnious presence to really, make it feel like, damn, like they're everywhere.
Yes, I can't avoid them, so I have to buy.
Exactly.
Because you know what? A quote that I read is, marketing is just being like the loudest person in the room, basically.
Just creating awareness.
Yeah.
Like just creating that omnious presence, that awareness that everybody comes and sees over and over and over.
Yeah. And so do you feel like the influencer marketing and the ads helped to build the social media following, or was there a content strategy in mind?
No, that definitely built it out. Yeah, like just having your favorite influencers, like it just backs it up and it just boosts it in great ways.
And that's a really key way to build a brand fast, is to get that like social proof. A lot of people saying, oh yeah, I saw them here, I saw them there, and then they want to buy.
Creating like it's everywhere. Again, like just creating that omnious presence, having big names post it, promote it, endorse it. It just becomes a bandwagon that everybody wants to be on.
And what is the price point?
It was everything from $13 all the way up to like $120.
Oh.
I think our top package was like $250.
I love a low ticket offer. They do so well because it's volume. It's so much volume. So we've got Wealthy College Kid. At one point you were selling fishing poles. Then we've got the vendor list. So what do you say to entrepreneurs who have a lot of ideas, right? They want to do workout classes. They want to make shea butter. They want to sell hair. How do they decide what to start with?
Homing in on what you feel like is going to be most profitable. And the way that you do that is, again, like just identifying your ideal customer. So, for example, I was going to do skincare.
Yeah.
It's so competitive. There's
so many people.
There's so many people, and it's a small profit margin. So that's how I eliminated skincare. Like, overall, I just eliminated it. So just seeing like a hole in your market and taking that hole and just blowing it up. Nobody was selling vendors list before Boss Palace. Then we saw all these like digital brands selling PDFs and vendors lists. So again, just finding that hole in that market and just blowing the spot up.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think what's really clear about what you've done too is you didn't do all these things at the same time. You kind of build one. It's like, okay, learn some things, start another one. Okay, cool. Learn some things. And then boom, another one.
But just having a team.
Yeah. And that is so true. So what were some of your first hires and how did you know it was time?
Customer service from the very beginning.
Me too.
Customer service, social media, managing, email, SMS, and then, just advertising if you can get to that point of outsourcing it. But just going up the hierarchy of needs for that business and the hierarchy of needs for what your customer needs.
Yeah, because the key, I think a big mistake entrepreneurs make is trying to do it alone for a really long time.
Yeah, and that's what holds you back.
Because you lose money. Because you can't be.
Lose sanity.
Yes, and sleep.
Sanity, sleep, money. Like, you can't, if you want to go far, go alone. But if you want to go the extra mile, you always have to.
Yeah, you have to. And you end up making something so much bigger that lasts outside of you. Mm-hmm. So, like, what's next?
My kids' clothing brand.
Yeah?
Yeah, literally. I'm just focused on, building that up and giving it that ominous presence it deserves. We've been dropping new influencers every single day, just kid influencers.
Really?
Yeah, and they're so cute. But yeah, just building up Just Kidding Kids, taking WealthyCollegeKid to 8 figures, which it's really halfway there.
Yeah, it's gonna be there soon.
So crazy. And then, Forbes 30 under 30, like, just
are going to make that list.
The last couple goals, honestly, and traveling the world, honestly.
Yeah, and experiencing and living and seeing what's next. So I do want to ask you, with what you're doing with the kids brand, what is the best way someone can get an influencer to market their product? Like, if they're a little... Just DM them?
Just DM an email. I have a girl that does it for me that actually I could refer you guys to for free. But
yes, we need that.
Yeah, I have a girl that handles all them kids, all the influencers, make sure the content is posted, make sure everything goes up. She's amazing. If I don't like it, she gets it redone from them.
Yeah.
She deals with that because I'm not going to chase down your favorite influencer anymore. Yeah, no. Like, I'm not, like, that's a nightmare. So no, she handles all of that.
And does every influencer ask for money?
No, not always. Some just want free clothes. It just depends on, like, the level of that influencer, if they're micro or if they're lit.
Yeah.
With kids, like, I'm not going to lie to you. Some of them, I was like, you lost me with this price. Like, you have a 2-year-old.
Like, you are too, right?
You have a 2-year-old with 5,000 followers.
Yeah.
I'm all for name your price, know your worth, but your 2-year-old, like, relax.
Yeah.
So let's build to this, like. But then you have twins or 2-year-olds with millions of followers.
Like the McClure twins.
Yeah, like them, like, I got a bag for you.
Yeah.
It just depends.
Yeah. That's good to know, because I think people think you can only get influencers if you yourself are large.
Clothes.
Yeah.
Especially like kids stuff, like girls, free stuff. Like, people take free stuff all the time.
I love free stuff.
Me too.
Yeah, we're not going to shade. So definitely something else I want to talk about before we wrap is, both of us came from these tumultuous relationships and we've built these amazing businesses. How has who you are now shaped what you look for in guys, what you look for in dating, and, like, what's your list of non-negotiables? Because I know I have a list now.
That's so crazy.
I did it before, but I definitely do now.
Before my relationship that I'm in now, I aggressively date. I know that is frowned upon. And when I mean? Aggressively date, like, I'll give you an example. And there's a woman on TikTok that kind of reinforced it in me that I knew I wasn't crazy. So say, like, I'm single. Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, I may be on a date with Dave, Jerry, Sam. But let's say I like Sam. Those other dates would never happen. I would never get to a second date with somebody if that first date is, like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, that foundation and that trust is just there. And I feel like a lot of times we find ourselves in these 6-7 month relationship situations because we're going on 3-4 dates with multiple people.
Yeah.
Like, I really was strict on, like, if it's not lit if I don't want to cut everybody off by the end of that first date, like, you'll never see me again.
Yeah.
You never.
Because we're not going to waste your time and my time.
Yeah, like, and just know, like, the relationship I'm in now, like, that's what I got. Like, and it's so crazy because when he came to Florida for the first time to see me, I had a privacy screen on my phone. And when he got in the car, I was like, you know what? I'm going to be all in. And I took the privacy screen, tore it off, and threw it out the window. And I didn't even know he had a privacy screen at this point.
Really?
Yeah, he did the same thing. He turned, he was like, me too. And he tore it off. And I was like, damn, I didn't even know you had that. I mean, I was sneaky. But now I see that we were both some sneaky people. But we're able, to, like, be like, okay, like, we're going to go all in. And another thing that I think people are just so into this mysterious shit, like, not posting their relationship. I was like that too, and you know what happened? I kept my options open.
Yeah.
So one of the things we did different is our relationship is public.
Yeah.
We post each other, we tag each other, we're 100% all in, and that was the biggest difference. And then just as an entrepreneur and as a boss, For example, I got my ClickFunnels award Thursday at 7 p.m. I was on a 9:50 flight that night to my boyfriend because he dropped his album. He had a tape called Say That drop. And I had to remember, like, I'm his girlfriend. I'm supportive and I'm a wife. You know what I mean? Like, my main duty is to support my man, my head of my household. So I had to, like, take a step back and remember that and skedaddle. Like, I was a boss all day, but I'm in New York for the weekend. And I knew that I had other obligations working the following week, so I went to New York for the weekend. So just,
but I think that's key.
Just,
the balance.
The balance and remembering, I'm still a woman.
Yes.
And a female and feminist or feminine and, supporting my man.
Yeah. And is it ever hard to turn off the boss and, like,
it was in the past.
Yeah.
Now it's not, I don't know. It just naturally.
Because probably, I feel like for me, it's easier when that person is a boss too,
Really?
Yeah. Like, I mean, not a boss in terms of money, but just like, Yeah,
no. I see what you're saying. Like a man, that masculine energy. Yeah, no, me too.
Yeah. Yeah, because, it's like.
Yeah, like it's just easier there.
It's just easier. Yeah. That's good. So what would be your biggest piece of advice you would give your younger Christianna? Besides breaking the lease, right?
These boys, dirt.
Yeah.
Run it up. Faster.
Yeah.
Run it up. Like, just run it up. Spend more because you'll make it. Like, I always tell people, like, my cost of living is so low. Like, I'm not telling anybody to, like, spend the way I do, but I have no kids, no husband. If I spend $100,000 tomorrow and take my account to zero, I know how to take it back up to $100,000 in a week.
Yeah. And
that is a great skill set, and I don't take it for granted, but I also live sometimes like, okay, we're gonna splurge a little because we don't have anything, we don't have overhead, we didn't change our lifestyle, so we can do the most on these experiences and these times because I put myself in a position.
Exactly. And you don't have to feel guilty about it because you can do both. You can splurge and you can go
run it up.
So if you were seated, this is always the question I ask every single one of my guests. So if you were seated right before God and he was like, Christianna, I'll give you anything you want right now, what would you ask for?
My son. My son. But I know it's going to come back around. So,
yeah. It will.
With time.
With time. Oh, that's so sweet. It definitely will. It definitely will.
I know.
This has been an amazing episode. So please tell the people, where can they find you? How can they connect?
You guys can find me at Christianna Hurt, or you can just Google Wealthy College Kid. All my stuff pops up. Yeah. And then you guys can just send me a DM and I'd love to chat.
Yeah, she would love to, you guys. So comment down below if we need to have a part 2 to this. I am super excited for you guys to get a lens into the e-commerce world. Over here we talk a lot about real estate and digital products and so many other things, but this is our first e-com strategy new business episode, so it's super exciting. All right, y'all, see you guys in the next episode. Bye. So if you want to be on the next episode of Get Elevated, or if you want to be in touch with me and the team, then you can email podcast@getellevated.com or find me on Instagram and email me at hello@ellietalksmoney.com. Either way, we cannot wait to have you on the show and have you apply to be a guest for a part of the live business coaching. I'll see you guys soon.